All right, so we'll call the meeting to order at 5:03.
Do you feel long-winded tonight?
No.
I have two things on the minutes. Terry, I apologize, I didn't look at them ahead of time. But the second page, seventh one down, about the candidates, I didn't say not one of them had any, but I said not many of them.
Okay, and what was the other one?
The other one's the next paragraph down,
Yep.
about the altitude valves on the tanks.
Okay.
It meant on the other tanks, not on the Walnut Street tank.
Okay, hold on, what,
The long paragraph at the bottom,
yeah, where, so
about a little over halfway down,
I'm taking out,
just adding the word on the Spring Street tanks instead of on the tank
on the Spring Street,
tanks.
okay.
That was all I had on the minutes.
You wanna wait till she prints them to make a motion on, or are you good?
Or if do motion, I'll move to approve them as modified.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the meetings, everybody look at the meetings, we good with the meetings for next year? The dates?
Yeah,
Are those corrected for like the Monday holiday?
you have to ask her.
They are, okay.
Okay.
They have asterisks next to it, actually.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
so January 19th, February 16th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll probably get, some will have to get shuffled still maybe, but.
So do we have to approve these, or just you're gonna submit them?
I think I can just, I don't know if you have to approve them or not, maybe because of the change, I think you do.
All right, motion to approve the list of meetings for 2021.
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That way, if we do have to, it's covered.
Any discussion on the main office generator?
All right, so we had there's been many storms, but one of the storms, it took out a couple of phases up here, and we went to generator. Now, I've noticed a long time ago that the generator wavers. It's old. It's as old as this building, so it's probably 30 years old. The electronics in it date back to before electronics in a building became more mission critical. So I happened to be in station 4 doing something, and all of a sudden I could hear everything ramp up like it was getting ready to take off and fly into the
It
air.
was getting too much.
It got way too much. And then eventually I heard a big bang and it tripped the well pump. So I asked once before about it, and they do something called a load test. And the last time I got a price, which was several years ago, and I didn't have 10,000 then, it's probably more now. So I'd have to look at my property management line to see what I've got left. But it costs a few dollars, and it takes like 4 hours for them to do the test.
Maybe we can get a couple prices on that and see.
I could call other generator companies, yeah, because we don't have to do that with them. I can call other ones and see. But I just know now that when we have power outages, I mean, as long as mainly that it's fixed, we'll have to go up there and test it just to make sure that it trips over and does everything correctly. But as long as we have Manly online during the wintertime, it's not a big deal.
Manley's all set now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna look into this, maybe Wayne, about load testing, I see what your budget line is, and
Yes. Yep. And then I'll call and get prices from like 3 different ones.
you go with that, Art?
Yeah, as long as we get a few prices and see.
Yeah, because I mean the controls, you can tell that the generator, it's been updated a few times through the years because they never abandon anything, they keep leaving the old crap sitting there, so you never know what's what.
It may need a tune-up of some sort.
Or new controls I mean, the motor's strong, so
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that part of it.
But now that we're running VFDs off of that we weren't running before.
Right, so we just had a power outage on Friday, probably about 5 o'clock. This section of town lost power, and it did send it through the VFDs out for phase. So yeah, they become more critical in their operations. They're sensitive.
I mean, is that something we might have to think about? I guess, maybe, I don't know if they can do it as part of doing the load test, but checking to see if it's something that we actually need to look into.
Right.
Either modifying the generator or changing it out.
Yeah, I mean,
spending big money on the VFDs and
Right.
getting all that stuff up.
Right, we can always ask it, I mean, it doesn't cost anything to ask. It's when they physically start doing things that it costs us an arm and 3 legs.
Yeah. So what do you got going on with Walnut Street tank? Any
Alright,
progress
so
there?
I did bring that up. So, but it requires so that it's been turned over to.
You get the TV screen up?
Yeah, first I'm trying to.
Oh, all right.
So you can't see how long it takes me to get to where I need to be. So the tank is never gonna pass a test, a bacteria test. If I'm lucky enough to get it passed, it'll fail out in a future one, and then we'll be up the creek, because now we'll be at a level 2. Thing from DEP. I'm getting lost. Senior, you know, I'm getting old. TV didn't turn on.
It did.
Alright, so the first thing I need is a way to flush. Yeah, no matter what, I'm gonna be in the way. Let me see if I can do it almost. I need to flush this line going into the tank. So it just so happened, oh, she didn't update, right? We went out and we got all of the storm drains from the farm, so I could show you, but there are storm drains right where it says C900, there's 2 right there. We can no longer access the one that we used to drain to because it's on the other side of the street.
Yep.
So if we tap in a hydrant off of this line, and then just run the pipe up and then run it down along the property line and then just bounce it up, we'll be right in front of the storm drain, so we could either just down a little, so we could drop it into the storm drain system for the farms. So that would allow us to literally drain the tank out that way. And it doesn't, it's all off-street, but I need permission from the association there to do that,
Yep.
if I go up into their thing. And then the other thing is the drainage swale is on the back side of the tank, so there is a line that runs. These drains don't drain with the rest of the system, they actually go out this way through it. So there's a line that comes through this guy's property, there's 3, but we can grab it right here in this section. If they'll allow me to tie into it, then we could, if the elevations are right, I'd have to shoot them and make sure that we could literally allow for if it ever overflowed, it would go into that and then go into the storm drain system. But once again, I need permission from the
Put like a catch
association.
basin in, so our swale would drain into the catch basin or something?
Yeah, well, with the swale, I'd have to get it through a drainage, so I'd have to run a drainage pipe over to the drainage system.
From the swale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I would have to just shoot the elevations to make sure that it's down low enough that we could do that. But for the backwashing of the tank line, that's easy. I just need permission, and they shouldn't fight a hydrant showing up because it's better for them for their insurance.
Where's the closest other hydrant we have in there?
Well, and that I don't know if they're on here.
And this is so you can drain the tank, Wayne?
Well, I can't flush that line. The line, it
Yeah,
has some.
there's no way out for that.
Right, there was no way provided to flush. Well, of course, if the thing was actually working correctly, then you could flush it into the swale on the backside and drain it out through if you close some of the valves in the tank, you could use, there's a drain line to send it out.
But you can't get into,
But I can't, the swale right now would overflow over into Pearl Road and start washing into their people's backyards. I mean, we have hydrants, so it doesn't, for us, it doesn't cost us anything except our time and our material.
And you wouldn't be getting into their pavement or their
No,
sidewalk?
I'd stay out, off and into the grass, so I'd never enter their
On
pavement.
our properties.
Yeah, and basically, if I go into theirs, it's only minute, and it's probably in a 5 or 10 foot part of our road layout anyways. That will at least allow me to flush the line backwards and clean it out, but if we move forward and I got the tank to test, until we fix the problem with it not using the water the way it's supposed to, then it would just happen again.
What about the leak, Wayne, is that
It
resurfaced?
has not resurfaced yet, that's the most, but there's no water moving in the tank. We have it open and flooded down to the bottom, so it's there, but it's not seeing any movement or any surges because it's, you know, shut off.
It'd still see the pressure that's behind it though, if it was leaking before. It should-
Right, it should surface and it hasn't yet. Which is too bad, because currently Hot Engineering they're in the Brockton sewer plant doing work, so they're actually right here. If I could get it to surface, but because the pipe is so far away, I can't get to the insulation to remove it and look at it.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it won't go away.
It'd be nice for it to come back when it would be less expensive to get them over here and look at it
Right.
and do something. Do you have a contact to talk to over at the farm?
Yeah, I had talked with Hugh and he gave me the guy's name.
That's a private association?
Yeah, yes.
That one. Now, is Pearl Road still, because I remember town meeting voted Pearl Road as.
Pearl Road
To
got
take it
accepted.
over, 'cause
Yeah.
it still has the private wayside stuff on it.
Yeah, and it shouldn't because it's not.
We did, nothing happened, we did actually take it over.
Yeah, there was something to do with the vote. The first time around it was incorrect or something, and that's when that guy that lived up on Katana Circle shot at us, and he did again anyways, but somehow they came back and they corrected it, I think. So it did get accepted.
Alright. I just went by there the other day and I noticed it still said.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dead end, you're not gonna go down there anyways unless you have some business down there or you get lost.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll probably see the same thing happen with the farm too.
Well, once we accepted that one, we're gonna end up accepting every single one of these around town.
I know, and they all have the sewer systems in them.
Yep. But,
All right,
so, yeah, just, I guess.
I'll reach out.
See what you can find out if they'll allow
Yeah.
that to go and, you know, stay out of their stuff as much as possible.
Yep,
And you can do that pretty much any time.
right,
Because you're not gonna be in the road or anything.
yep, yeah, it wouldn't require, it just requires our spare time.
Which you have so much of.
all right, Hayfield contract, any,
I reached out to, sent, him a text message, you know, to just, you know, call me and so we can just talk and see what, you know, you're feeling, but he's not answering anybody back. He
Who's
didn't
that,
even
Mark?
think- who?
who,
Ramco.
Ramco,
oh, Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mark.
So you left him a message?
Yeah, and never heard. And I kind of tried to watch for him to see if I can't find him and then just bump into him that way. I mean, obviously he has the contract. If there's an issue, just say something. How do you work with them if you're not gonna say
Well, we
anything?
voted to cut it in half, correct?
Yeah, Kerry, you
Right.
sent him something on that,
Sent him a
right?
letter, yeah,
And
and
he
I
never-
called, no.
No, he's not responding back. So I did print out what they, or she said, the email that I got where, but unfortunately, it looks like it didn't bring my,
The thing from Jason.
yeah, and that's the school, and on the back, the second page is actually, what they're saying is that dog leg boot looking thing there is always cut short anyways, and then you can see what they do for tracks in there. And there's a woman somehow involved here, and she said that she did reach out to Mark, and Mark wouldn't respond to her either.
Why was she getting in touch with Mark?
Because they just wanted, because they didn't want the thing being hayed while they were in there, but it always seemed once they got the kids there was machinery moving around. I'm like,
How often would it?
I know, there shouldn't be, it couldn't be that often. You're only gonna cut it down once, and then you're gonna bale it like the next day or the day after. You're gonna do it right back to back before it gets wet.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be more than a day's worth of time running around that field
Right.
each time.
Somebody's put some time into mowing that track though, huh?
Yeah, they do it themselves now, I guess, because it says in that long letter that the highway used to do it for them, and then they stopped, and then they started doing it themselves, I guess. And they said they do it because they want to keep the kids off of the street, because there's so many cars.
Yeah.
Which I can understand, so I did tell them that, you know, down here, just reach out to me and I'll help you clean the trail so you can get in here.
Yeah, just as long as we know when they're gonna be using it. And
Right.
And again, like you said, it should be a day of somebody running around cutting it,
Right.
sits for a couple days, a day of baling it, and
Right.
then one more time taking the bales out. Unless they just leave them and.
I think
take
they, some of the
them.
round bales, they might leave them and go get them later.
Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, even then, it's not like you're gonna have machinery operating around.
Day
the
after
field.
day.
No, it's not day after
It's
day,
not
it's
that big
like
a
a
place.
3-day event and then it's done for the next 2 months.
Or till next year.
Yeah, depending on,
Supposedly they didn't get a second cut in there this year, right?
that's, a lot of people didn't get second
No.
cuttings around, I noticed, so
Right.
I wouldn't expect they did either.
And I know, I did see him at one point and he had mentioned in the first year that he had it, he said he didn't get what he thought he should have gotten out of it either.
Well, that's, well, it was pretty clear what the area was.
Right.
To do it, so.
The problem is it declines every year from
Yeah.
when they started. They're not putting anything back into it.
Yeah.
No fertilizer, no manure,
Yeah.
no nothing. So it's just, every year they hay it, they're getting less and less, so.
Yeah.
All right,
If you're gonna do it, we just go to somebody else.
update on the replacement well?
So I signed the contract to tell them that we accepted the, you know, the bid.
What was the bid?
Was it like 59,000? I know it was almost 30,000 less.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it here, I forgot one here. But it was, I think it was around 59,000, I think they had budgeted 100, so. That should help us in the end. So we're just waiting for them to do get their insurance documents and everything together. And then they'll move forward on it. It is moving forward.
Yeah, it was 59,671. There were two bids. One was 59,671, the other one was 94,200.
Who was the low?
So it was the brother. The one that we don't use.
Yeah.
There are two brothers, I guess they they don't like each other anymore. So they're both in the well business, so they splintered off. One went one way and the other went the other way.
Are they still doing it, the pull down where the rip was?
Yep, yes,
So we get, either way, we get the same.
right.
But it's the one we usually deal with anyway, right?
No, we're getting the
That's
other
right.
brother.
Oh, we're getting the
That'll give me an insight into him and how he works.
Good. How about water permit? Probably nothing.
So we're just waiting now, there's not a lot they gave us, it's 0.84, so it's 0.84 mtg a day, that's all they were gonna allow us. The only other thing was, the one thing that I saw was the leak detection, they want one done every 3 years, that seems a bit excessive.
It don't work anyway.
Right. But if you ignore it, as long as you stay under the 10%, then they don't usually bother you. It's once you get above the 10%, then they're gonna be all over our
Are
case.
we we're under it now, aren't we?
We were over for 1 year, so
Yeah,
when
we
I
had
was
that
talking to
big.
him, he seemed to think it was 3 consecutive ones. So we might get away, we'll see what happens this year.
What are we pumping now? We're around 500-600?
Yeah, we bounce around, we're in the 5s, 6s, 4s, but basically around 550 if you average it out.
Sounds about right.
A couple meetings ago, you said something about we had a lot of unaccounted for through like a month or something?
So I'll get to that at the end. So
Okay.
I've been looking at something and it bothered me, and it requires us doing some internal searching here and figuring out.
Alright, new water source,
So that's still dead, because our permit's not renewed yet, so there's no, we're not moving anywhere on that. The asset management grant, I did meet with them and they went over things, so they're starting out looking at the piping systems and looking at critical areas to point out what, the dead end ones, if a pipe breaks, like heading down South Elm Street, it would definitely shut off everybody beyond, and once the 40B's in, they'd be without water until we got it repaired.
Yeah.
So part of it points out that, they look at the age of the pipes and what pipes that you want, they put numbers to them to say that if you had a list of things that you were gonna begin replacing for capital work, this is what you'd go after. So I basically sat there weighting the different pipes and the systems and explaining our system to them.
And they're including those real old small pipe that we're talking about.
Yeah, I told them about the 2-inch and the 4-inch on South Main, and, I mean, there's no money gonna be given to us for anything, so it's not like.
No, but the more we document that's,
Right.
needs to be done, the better case we have if any money
Right.
does come available someday.
Yeah,
Not that it's there,
right.
but if nothing else, we'll have something so we know what's in the street a little bit better.
Yep,
so PFAS, where are we at?
I did run around, I did all the tests, I got in the samples. I
Oh, you
did all
all the samples already?
Yep, so I've already pulled all the samples, they're off to the lab now.
When do we expect results?
That I'm not sure, cause
Keep our fingers crossed.
Whenever they get back to us, basically.
yeah, basically.
They didn't say any kind of timeline?
No, I mean, I can email before the next meeting, I'll email the girl and say, when do we expect results out of this? I can't see that, the samples can only sit so long before they have to process them anyway, so I can't see them not being processed.
So, should be something in a couple of weeks, wouldn't you think?
Right, yep,
Well,
So
that'll
there's
be
no other
interesting.
issues, we had the KOH pump out at Manley Street, so those, right, you replace that, and then no issues. Because I remember we were waiting for something at Manley Street, I thought it was a KOH pump.
yeah, no, everything stayed together and running.
Mail lady, I think. Where did you take the samples from?
So I had to actually manipulate the system, because they wanted individual raws, so in a combined system, you physically have to shut off one. Now the pumping station, so we had to close valves and dump the waste while we were doing that, so that I didn't have to adjust the station and then readjust it. So everything happened inside the stations, because they give you a blank to pour. They want to know if there's PFAS in the air. Basically, as we sit here, we're all covered in PFAS
Yeah.
anyways. Another known thing that they spray pesticides, has it.
What,
It's
what,
like-
So it sprays it on the
The
ground.
mosquito spray
Yeah.
that we were talking about, I saw that a week or so ago.
say that again, it's in this,
The
in
mosquito spray that they go around and spray all the swamps and everything with,
PFAS is in that?
Yep. It's in almost everything, and they're trying
We
to
must
tell
just
us,
leave it in our water then.
right, it's in us.
Yeah. it's everywhere, basically.
Right, and it's not a banned substance, or substances, there's many of them.
Alright,
It was amazing once I watched the video on it to see how much is covered in it. I mean, if you use the dryer sheet with the scent in it, PFAS.
Yeah.
So I had all my clothes, were old, not smelly and dirty, to make sure that I wasn't covered in the stuff.
Yeah, so you didn't contaminate the sample.
Yeah.
oh my god. Alright, water labor position.
This is where if you guys see somebody in there you like, I shouldn't have to look at, just under 200 resumes and have to struggle to pick somebody out. I don't like it when I see somebody who's worked somewhere and then they jump and start leapfrogging around. It says either it's them or it's the other guys. And when you usually see them leapfrogging from job to job to job, that gives me a bad feeling. I didn't see any candidates. Human Resources wanted to be in this. They should be able to fine-tune the system so that we don't get a billion cooks applying to our job, corrections officials, and everything else. They want to be part of it. I was going to go and start trying to fine-tune it working with Indeed or working with Monster. I was just going to switch over. but they want to be part of this, then that's her job. She should be able to fine tune the
Except we
process.
also said from the beginning that we didn't want them making the decision, and we wanted to see all of the candidates
Right,
up front. So if we send and I agree, there's like the cooks, the prison guards, and all the rest
right.
that you can throw out in 2 seconds. But if we show, and I don't know how many of them you look through.
I haven't, I never found them in my email.
But I did look through them all, and I looked to see if somebody had something electrical in
but
their
you can
background.
take this
I did
one.
look at them all.
I found about 6 or 7 that
Right.
had some electrical, some, you know,
I'm gonna have
either
some
in their
time
work
to get into a
experience or
work, so-
school,
Right.
that
What'd you say, I can
would
take
at
those?
least be willing, we should at
You-
least
Kevin,
talk
you
about
send them an
amongst.
email?
Yeah,
But I know
Can
you
that
resend that
the
email
boat
to me?
school
Yeah.
in Hanover,
I didn't
I
get,
sent them
has
separate because I didn't get
a,
them all at
PLC
once. I got them
program,
in
'cause I
groups,
was trying
that's
to
why
take
they
it
put
there.
together by
and that's how you
group.
emailed them in groups?
Each year, they graduate
I
a
don't
class,
remember
it's
seeing
gotta
them.
be 100 or just under 100 students each year. They gotta all be somewhere. And not get one of them, because when I looked at where everybody was coming out of school, most of them were all high schools, not votes. I saw a couple of votes, but that was about it.
Oh, no.
But we've had this like for what now, a year, anyway.
Yeah, I've been trying
And we
for
haven't
that
been able to
long.
find one of these people.
Right.
So how many are there, literally, 200?
I think it's
180 something.
Yeah.
I think it's 181, but I'm not positive.
So these are all still good, so it's worth looking at them, and if we see something, we can,
If you can find something, I'm not gonna argue with anybody, or,
A lot of them, you're gonna look, just gonna literally take it and toss, because they're that far out. But then there's, you know, there's some that worked for utilities, there's some that worked for contractors, and some of them say they've got some, you know, the thing is, you don't, unless you talk to them, you don't know what electrical experience means
Right.
either. You know, they could have
I
been
mean,
doing nothing, or they
it's,
could have been
it's
doing
easy
a
to
lot.
hire somebody who's just gonna go out and use a shovel. I just know that the niche that I'm always bumping up against is the electrical.
No, and I think that any of them that we send through, we should make sure they've at least got that in. And then if it turns out none of them really have it,
Right,
then we dump them. But I think that's a level that we should, you know, there are a few,
right.
we should at least push that through, get some names into Linda.
But I do have the contact at the it's not Hanson, but whatever the bulk is up there, Hanson, Halifax, I don't know what it's called, but where they have the PLC program, that I could ask her if they have a list of graduating students or if they have a posting board. I'd like to at least try that first, and then after that,
Well, and the thing is, we're kinda in the middle of this, and we do
Yeah.
have ads up.
Right.
So we should keep this process, I'm not saying not to contact them, contact them at the same time.
right,
And, you know, maybe it turns out you know, that's not a person that's gonna work as the full-time job either, but we work it as to something, you know, if a kid just out of the boat school,
yeah,
maybe we work something, figure out some different position that they can come in and shadow and work, part-time or something.
well, ultimately, you want somebody with electrical experience.
I would prefer that they
Yeah.
have electrical sort of instrumentation so that they know what they're looking at. I mean, we need some work done, and it would be a lot cheaper if we had somebody who knew what they were doing.
Like I say, 'cause the other thing is if we can't get somebody, but you don't really need a laborer, would be to take some of that money and do something for like, put a line item for an on-call electrical and bid for something like that, to have somebody who does electrical or instrumentation.
Yeah,
If you need somebody on call, we have a rate, hourly rate, but they just come in for you.
right,
Because you don't wanna stick you with a person that you don't want,
yeah,
or that isn't gonna fit.
yeah,
But at the same time, I don't want you to not have the help either.
right.
So, yeah, Tommy, go through that pile. Hey, I already did, I just did it with the electronic ones.
You did, huh?
And so, just see if you can find a few, send those back into Linda, or through Kerry, however, because it came, yeah, because I got it from Linda, because I'm the one on the committee, but you probably got it through Kerry.
Yeah.
Well, I get it from Linda, that's how I got them.
Yeah, no, I mean, Tom wouldn't have Linda's email even to send them back, I don't think.
Nope. I'll look through, if I see something, I'll contact Wayne and Carrie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't contact me, because I'm not supposed to know what you pick. You know, can't have these,
You can, it's a meet at the.
again, it's like we did, like 2 water commissioners can't go to a bid opening, because it'd be an illegal meeting.
Oh, it's ridiculous. So Wayne, what bothers, I got a note here.
All right, so if you look up at our commitment, so we have the August and the November commitment there to the right. And if you look at the,
Get closer.
Yeah, I can't.
I can, let me pull it up a little more.
That's easier to just stand here.
You notice anything about those numbers?
Where are we?
So if you look at, here's our August commitment, there's our November commitment.
Big drop.
We actually pumped 9 million more gallons during the November commitment. So we're basically going backwards now, trying to figure out if something went wrong. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
But in the process, I might have determined that we don't really have missing water. Today, I saw something different on the screen. These people, our billing people, really aren't water people. Phyllis picked these people. But it was trying to keep, Phyllis was always with the cloak trying to, it's my,
Right. So you think they're missing?
I think, well, if that's the trait that's following and I know everybody didn't shut off the water, either that or we got some gigantic leak that, again, and I
But
don't think that's the case. Then our rate doesn't make it either. We're gonna make it this year because I'll curtail my spending and we have the 40B who's paid some of his fees, so that actually brought us up. When I estimate across, it puts us, if I curtail my spending, then we'll make it without having to go through the DOR issue again. Because now I know what's happening and I can hold back. Plus I have 2 people in the budget that there's $100,000
Yeah.
right there that I haven't filled.
Well,
But we have to call into billing and see what numbers, how they grab the numbers. Something's missing somewhere.
So the real concerning part is going from the 420 to the 280.
Right.
but there was more, if you looked at the one for November 2019,
Let me back up. If I just shrink it down.
But we went up on the basic. Oh, because of the increase.
Yeah, the basic went up because,
Of the increase.
yep.
so
So if you look, they're almost identical. They should always almost be identical. Those are our 2 money-making quarters. And they're not. And remember, this is a wet
Yeah,
year.
yeah, 278 to 280.
280, what happened with the 421 in August?
No, but remember, these are wet years.
Right.
216 was the last drought year.
Yeah,
That's
but
why I tried to warn you that the rate, even though you adjusted it, it needs to be fixed. It's wrong. You have to adjust up the basic amount that you allot people, but you need to bring up the basic rate again to fix it, so it covers like 75% of it. We're always floating on a wing and a prayer, hoping that we have a drought summer and.
Yeah, and that's not sustainable anyway.
Right,
So we
that's
seem
not
to
a
be
proper
right on
business.
target, though, Wayne, aren't we, with 2019?
Not the excess.
No, because it was a drought year. That number, there's something wrong up there.
Well, 2019 was 278. and
Right,
Yeah,
but it was,
we only 288 in
we
August.
pumped a lot less.
Maybe they scaled, but they saw the rate increase and shut the sprinklers.
So I thought about that when I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night.
I've said that before.
But I remembered
That's what
not
happened in
seeing
August.
everybody's lawn that was green stayed green. People didn't
Yeah,
really
but
stop.
They scaled back, I'm telling you.
That's
Like I
That's,
said, if you want
all right, so
to
here's-
increase
but as-
our income, drop the rate. Don't
No,
go
once
lower.
again,
Because we're gonna get shut down on.
No,
the
no,
all right,
water
no,
we use.
but once
Basically,
again,
that's what happens.
yes, but once again, I'm telling you, in the November one, we pumped 9 million more gallons than we pumped in the August one.
So if anything, that should be high.
So the-
we don't
yes.
have a huge.
Oh, so it's not being accounted for.
Right, there's something missing.
It is on the meter side, but something I don't know.
All right, something's
We
not
haven't
right.
figured
I've
out
always said
what
there's
happened.
something not jiving somewhere.
And in working with the guy today, it's a matter of how you grab the numbers and when the meters are read, that if it's grabbed wrong, it emits stuff. So I don't know if that's what happened there,
Well, it doesn't omit
but
anything.
it doesn't,
It's just,
right.
it's just how, like, so if we do it on the first, it might not, it's.
Right,
It's not lining up with what
Exactly.
you're.
right, we haven't figured it
But
out
at least
yet.
we
Your
figured out
source
that there's
production
no missing water, you know?
So hopefully by the next meeting, I have a better answer.
Yeah, we gotta get to
Good
the
number.
bottom of that, you gotta find out what's going
Right,
on.
and that's what we're trying to
He's
do.
out.
It went up
Today
9
and
million
tomorrow.
gallons.
Right, it was.
So I didn't change doing anything, you know, how I pull everything in, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, cause it's.
So what did we pump for the November quarter
So
compared
for
to
the
the August
November,
quarter?
we got go to, all
Too
right,
many
so
numbers.
for the November billing period, we pumped 79.6 million.
Yeah,
For the August one, we pumped 70.3.
Almost around the same.
Right, they should have been exactly the same, that's why I don't see the numbers, and when I saw it,
if that
then
was,
I knew there was something wrong.
if it was a big leak, you'd see a jump in the number.
Yeah, we wouldn't, yeah, it's too big, way too big.
Yeah.
The numbers, our pumping numbers coincided with the weather and people using it, and that's what I basically saw out there, so.
So something in the billing system that,
Something wasn't right, or something, we're looking into it now.
Yeah. so for the next meeting, we might have a better idea.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
That's probably that should be one of your top priorities right there.
Well, it is. I'm gonna be up tomorrow though, cause at lunch I lost a cap, so I'm not gonna come in with myself drooling all over myself when I try to put that thing
He's
back
not
on.
in tomorrow anyway.
And she's out on Wednesday, so we are on it.
Okay.
Anything else?
The only other thing I have is, and it's a constant worry, as we move through the pandemic, everybody knows the numbers have risen drastically. So, almost everybody here except for me has kids in the school system or in a daycare system. And there have been a few scares along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my own at home. Oh, if one of us will take out all of us, and that shuts the system down. We should be working a rotating crews, 2 on, 2 off, because there's only 4 of us when you include me. But we shouldn't, 2 of us should not be together with the other 4 unless there's a construction project to be outside. Because one takes out all. I mean, if I'm not deadly sick and they allow me to come in, then I'll still come in anyways, but it doesn't require a lot of effort to keep the system running, but technically you're not supposed to, you're supposed to go in quarantine and stay home for, you know, it's 10 days now.
There are certain exceptions though for critical jobs too, because I know they do it with healthcare as long as you're basically walking.
You're essential, I mean.
I understand that, I'm just trying to
So
keep
you're
us,
trying to figure out a way to,
right,
So that's,
until we get past
do
this,
that.
this next wave. Well, I know how to do it, it would be 2 guys come on like Monday and Tuesday, and then another 2 come on Wednesday, Thursday, and then you split the Friday, so that you cover the Friday.
Can you keep half the crew separated somewhat in their duties?
I mean, I can make them a,
Don't mix them up. 2 guys and 2 guys.
so we're short, I'm using my own personal truck as it is, because we just don't, the other vehicle hasn't come to us yet.
of course.
So, and we touch all it, unless you keep them away from the shop, we touch almost all the same computers. You can't keep wiping down the computer before you bust it. So, we touch almost all the same things. It's kind of hard to separate us. We do more technically than other groups do.
Now, wear gloves.
Right, I mean, I'm looking to see if I can't get a fogger to fog the vans, and I haven't found one yet from a vendor that I can buy from.
Yeah.
School department have anything like that they use in the classrooms?
I can ask, well, they probably hire somebody instead of doing it themselves.
But even then, maybe they have the information
Right.
on where, might just be a lead.
I can ask them,
Because, I mean, they must be doing stuff between the schools, the school buses are getting done. I haven't seen
Right.
Southeastern, I know, is still running buses.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
no,
can run
West
it all.
Bridgeewater is.
Yeah, they are.
So maybe Lucini would know too.
All right, I'll reach out and see.
Just something, because we don't want to have all you guys out sick at one time from it, you know,
Right.
sick anyway.
Well,
It's
there's
not
no,
even that they were sick, if one person has to quarantine, if you're exposed because you're in the same area, then you're all supposed to be.
Yeah.
we've made it this far, but I knew in the beginning, this was gonna be the part that was gonna be the worst, because everybody's fed up with it now.
Well, and this is gonna go on for a lot longer, this isn't
Right.
stopping anytime soon. But no, do the best you can. You know, make them wear gloves, get some of them Tyvek suits, you know, ventilator masks.
Mass, yeah.
I've been buying, anytime I can get masks, I'm buying them. Hopefully some years back, somebody's gonna look and go, why did he buy so many masks?
No, you know, all you can do is what you can to try to keep them
Yeah,
clear.
alright. Other than that, I
Anything
don't have
else?
anything else.
Alright,
No?
Kerry?
Get these.
You can officially adjourn the meeting.
Our next meeting, actually, December 21st.
Oh, that's right, that's not on this one, it is. This is the last.
That's the Christmas week.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that Rick probably won't be here. Cause he usually isn't on that every year,
Hmm.
but I don't know.
We'll see what will happen, we'll have a short meeting,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's all. Anything else, Tommy?
I don't think so, I think everybody's all set.
I'll make a motion to adjourn then.
I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.